For those who are new to this church, my name is Derek Boger, and I'm excited to be here. Just in the state of our pastors as they're out doing ministry right now. My wife is even in L.A. right now handling some family things. But it's good to be here among community with my family. Josh, I really appreciate that testimony he had. What we're doing, we're taking this year as our pastors are sharing, advancing the vision through connection and community. So that clip was just a way that Josh and his family, his wife is Anita, how they saw community within the church and what was happening. Today I want to talk from a topic that says, stronger together. Come on, look at somebody and say, I'm stronger together. God's design for community. So I want to be honest, and I want you to consider right now, who are your top 3 friends? I don't want anybody to say it out loud, but I want you to pause and think about the closest 3 friends you have in your life right now. Yeah, I'll wait. Some of y'all will quickly like, oh yeah, so-and-so, it's so-and-so. Oh, I don't know about the third one. And then maybe it's so-and-so. 3 closest friends. I heard it said where if you can find 3 good friends that last a lifetime, you're doing good. Most people would struggle to find that. Here's my second question to the same question. Are the closest people you just thought of pulling you closer to God or pulling you further away from him? No, don't change the names now. Don't change who they were. You said those are your closest friends. We're talking about community today in the way God designed that thing to happen. Statistics show that people are choosing a life now of autonomy, independence of others. They are attempting to eliminate the risk of being hurt in a design of life without real intimacy. Many people are choosing to live a life in absence of real relationships. Think about it. We have flexible schedules. We do online banking, online grocery shopping. Anything I can do to avoid people is what people are doing. Instacart, microwave society. They don't slow cook anything anymore. How fast can I get it? I want to get in and out. People put on their headphones when they work out. They throw a hood over their head. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. I'm just here to work out and keep moving. We focus our lives on how separate can I be. But God said that's not the best for us. Let me go with a little story. In 2006, I married my beautiful wife. Let's put a picture on the screen. I love this. 2006, yep, that's my bride. I miss her dearly. Shout out to her. She's streaming online right now in L.A. That was us. In 2006, we decided to say yes to each other. Now, the day I fell in love with her, I remember asking, when did you know I was the one? Oh, that's a tricky question. But I remember saying there, she went to Evangel Fellowship over in Greensboro, but what I remember is that it was a singles ball, and we had gotten dressed up and went to this place, and she was doing this singing. She was on the praise team, and an artist was there, recording artist, Stephen Hurd at the time, and the choir was singing behind him. And I was sitting about right there, about in the middle somewhere, and she kept watching me the whole time, like, you know how somebody's watching you, my boyfriend right there, so I can't really sing like I want to. Yeah, so I was watching her, trying to act like I wasn't looking, but I was looking. Let me see how she act. About that third song, when she forgot I was in the building, the spirit fell on the place. She lost all sense of everything else. My wife got into a pure worship, and I watched her from another eye. I said to myself at that moment, yeah, she can wear my last name. That was the moment I knew her, that she was the one. I know everybody's story is not the same. Yeah, I used to club. I had a story too. I didn't always put God first in my life. I'm not saying this angelic presence of my wife is how I live life, but I am saying there were girls I would date, but they wouldn't come home to mama. Y'all know what I'm talking about? When I saw the wife that God called me to, that was it. Somebody needs to hear different parts of this message, and I promise, if you pay attention, somewhere in it, it'll fit what you need in your life. So what happened with my wife, 1 year later, we're sitting at the beautiful beach, and it was our 1 year anniversary. It had a nice resort, beautiful sunrise. We were sitting on the back deck, beautiful moment, beautiful robes on, beautiful everything. Her beautiful brown eyes, beautiful conversation. And she looked across from me in the moment, and she said, honey, there is only one thing that can make this moment better. I was like, what? I paid a lot for this resort. I did all this, and what else could be better? She said, to have a baby. Oh. It was year one, y'all. It was 1 year anniversary. And I remember in my moment saying, right now, like, I wanted kids. Matter of fact, I think I wanted 3 at that time. But I remember saying, let's just wait 2 years. I keep hearing guys say, once you get these babies come, you don't get that one-on-one time anymore. Let me just go a little longer. She says, no, everything's perfect. We should do it right now. So out of nowhere, I don't even know where she got a coin from. She pulls a quarter out. And she says, let's flip a coin. I said, wait a minute. I am not going to have my kids born based on a coin toss. And she was like, why not? And I was like, that's just not how it's supposed to work. I don't want my kids to hear this story. I found, we did this because of a coin toss. Either way, she was like, it don't matter, heads or tails, which one? I said, I will not. I said, heads. So she had her hand covered. She pulls that thing up, and it was heads. Heads is, we can have kids right now. No, we can't have them now. Tails was, you have the kids. Heads, we get to wait. So it was heads. I was like, yes, we get to wait. So anyway, 9 months later, Josh was born. Literally, 9 months to the day. September 7th, my son was born. Let me see a picture of him. Josh was born at that moment. Oh, my goodness. We named him Joshua Roderick Boger. Oh, my goodness. The date was September 7th, 2007. Nobody can understand this. Why? Because September 7th, just a year ago, was the day my brother passed. Yeah, my brother was 27 years old. He was 6'6". He was a picture of health, about 210 pounds. He was a basketball machine. He had just married his beautiful wife, and he passed and collapsed on the basketball court from a rare heart condition on September 7th, 2006. God, why would you bring pain like I had never felt with the loss of a brother? 1 year later, on the exact same day, he brought healing and restoration. Whew, what a contrast. That day, I will never forget, but with my son being born, there's a greater way I'll remember that day. So yes, we named my son after my brother. It's beautiful moments. The point today is about community. I remember saying I didn't want kids until 2 years, but man, was he right on time. 16 months later, my baby girl was born. Whew, Lauren Joy Boger. Put this picture up there. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how my daughter feels about that picture, but that one right there touched my heart. I love that picture. Y'all, what's in her hand right there? Is that a hanger? Y'all ever remember days when just a hanger was enough to play with? That was a toy. Kids at that age just loved everything. Oh, I loved it. That is my baby girl. Look, my wife is my queen. That's my best friend. But my daughter, that's my heart right there. My little girl. Oh, she know it too. That's my little girl right there on the front row. Love my kids. It was nothing like it. I remember saying to myself, who can love more than that? Like, there's nobody on this earth that loves my wife or my kids more than I love these people right now. Now, I want somebody to hear this today. No matter how much you love your family, he loves you, God, 1 billion times more than that. 1 billion times more than that. Even in the sin you did last night, the thoughts you had this morning, the failures you had in your marriage, the struggles you've done, the addictions that you won't tell anybody about. Even in that, he loves you more. Somebody needs to hear that is what it is. I started looking at scriptures different when I had my kids. John 3:16, for example. It says, for God so loved the world that he gave. He gave his one and only son. I don't know if y'all heard the story. I only have one son. His name is Josh. One and only. That's all he had. Could I give him for y'all? Whew. I don't think so. Could I give him for people who he knew would reject him and say, I don't want you? Would he do it even though you're going to say, I know Jesus, who he is, but I don't really want to live a life for him? Could I really have done what he chose to do? The reason I bring my kids up, because I remember being a young parent. I was new to the game. And I remember saying, how do I raise these kids? How do I really be the dad I want to be? And I remember somebody saying to me, he said, Derek, whatever you're facing in this life, go ahead and get rid of everything you don't want in your life. I want you to think about this for a minute. the way you talk, the way you act, the things you do in the dark, it's a great chance your kids will do exactly what you do. And that was tight to me. Yeah, I try to live life pretty good, but like to know that my son is going to watch me and be who I am. They said every show you watch, every inappropriate thought you have, the way your eyes wander, the way you do this or that, anything that you like or don't like, any pet peeves, change it because your child will grow up doing exactly what you do. It made me change some things in my life. The reality today is some of you have people watching. Yet we continue to do life in a way that we act like no one's looking. What impact are you making on your children's life? What is the community that you choose to keep around you today? Well, why was that so important? Because more is caught than taught. I can tell you what my kids shouldn't do, but if they see me doing it, they will do it. Don't you use that language. Don't you drink what daddy's drinking. Don't you watch these late shows. Don't you scroll on your social media looking at what I'm looking at. Who you are is who they'll become. Now, you can relate to it when I say kids, but what about your friends? What about the 3 people that you said were your closest 3 friends? The reality is who you choose to live around is the life that you'll have. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, we're stronger together. What I loved about what God did, let's go to the Bible now. What God said, some people say the first thing that God addressed was the sin that Adam and Eve did. Adam went to this tree, he pulled this fruit, and he took it. But even before that, there was a problem that was made. God addressed the issue of loneliness. I'm only going to cover 3 parts today. Here's the first point. If you're taking notes, because I love people who take notes, I really do. It makes me feel like you're studious and you actually care to grow. And you actually care in your faith. You don't need a pencil and pad. Just pull your phone out. Just scroll. Go to your notes tab. But just keep key points that stick to you. And I promise it'll help you remember when things go sideways or you need to do it. 3 points I want to drive home today. Number 1 is this. Community is God's answer to loneliness. In Genesis 1, God goes on this building spree. Oh, he's creating everything. He's like, boom, let there be light. Boom, let's separate the water in the sky. Boom, let's separate the water in the land. Boom, let's create birds, fish of the sea, creatures, giraffes, elephants. He's creating everything. He's on this spree. Then in Genesis 1, verse 31, he says this, God saw all that he made, and it was very good. And then there was evening, there was morning. This was the 6th day. The Bible goes on to say on the 7th day, he did what? He rested. He chilled. 19 verses later, Genesis 2, verse 18, the Lord said, it is not good for man to be alone. I want somebody to hear this. For the first time, God says something he did wasn't good. It wasn't that it was bad that he made man. He said it's not good for that man or mankind to be alone. So from the very onset of this message, I want you to hear that God, community, is the answer to loneliness. There's some introverts in this room that says, Derek, I hear you, but that's not my style. See, I'm a loner. I don't really do well with people. I don't really like to be around folk. I'm just that person that keeps to myself. I don't bother you. You don't bother me. God said that's not the design he made for us. He saw Adam chilling in the garden, taking care of stuff he was doing. Adam didn't even know he needed him. Picture that. God created him, and he's just taking care of the garden. He's doing his job. And he actually said, it's not good for him. I thank God for that, because I might have saw that elephant after a while and been like, elephant kind of cute. I mean, at some point, you're going to get lonely. Like, I don't know what to say. He said, no, let me take from your rib. I'm going to give you somebody else. Some of y'all get what I'm talking about. Adam, what you going to do? He said, this ain't good. He's going to go crazy. He needs somebody in his life. We all have a longing for belonging. Every one of us. It's why kids join a game. It's why people get into bad crowds. All we want to do is fit in. It don't even matter if it's bad. I just want somebody to accept me. Maybe they're not even doing something good. I just want to be in the in crowd. My kids have made mistakes. Dad, I don't even know why I did that. I know why. Because in that moment, it was just a popular thing to do. Doesn't make it right. Why can I relate? Because I used to do it. Yes, I was independent. Yeah, I like to say I had it together, but there were times you just did something, you're like, that is not my character. But when you're around the people that do certain things, we tend to be like our company. That's why I asked you who you're hanging with. Who's your 3 o'clock friends? 3 o'clock in the morning, I know some people I can call. I know some people that's got my back. I know some ride or die friends that's with me. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12 says this, though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times. A brother is born for a time of adversity. Proverbs 18:24. A man with many friends can still be ruined, but a true friend sticks closer than a brother. Come on, somebody. I got people all over this room that I call brothers that I get to do life with. I get to do life with them. That's what it's about. Remember this, guys. God will never, if you're taking notes, remember this one. God will never give up on you. And neither will the right friends. I'm not talking about them wishy-washy friends. I'm talking about the ones God put in your life. They will never give up on you. And neither will God. A true friend cares for you. In the good times, in the bad times. They love you just like you are. Galatians 6, verse 2. It says, carry each other's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. You hear Pastor Misty, Pastor, myself, our team say this a lot. You are deficient by design. That means when he created you, there was an era of his life where he said, I'm going to pull that out because that part needs to be filled by a community. My point I want you to make sure you take today is you can't do it by yourself. You need the person to your left and to your right, no matter what you think. Here's the second point I want to do. Second point, community eliminates isolation. According to a recent Harvard study, this is what it says. 36%, more than 1 in 3, somebody say 36%, of people endure ongoing feelings of loneliness, isolation, and a longing to be loved or to love. More than 1 in 3 people in the room. So I can start from my left and say, not you, but yep, you. Not you, but yep, you. Every third person in this room deals with loneliness. Wow. Listen, we live in a world where we're full of Instagram followers, TikTokers. Is that even a word? TikTokers? Y'all get what I'm saying? Facebook friends, all these things, but nobody that's truly connecting. We're so lonely. We do things just to get attention, and then we get mad when nobody likes it. Think about that for a minute. What has this world become? We go through hard times. We get texts from people. No longer do we get calls, stopping by, hanging out together. 1 in 3 people have needs in their life, but nobody to meet them. 1 in 3 people have hurts to share, but no one to listen to them. 1 in 3 people have love to give, but no one to receive it. 1 in 3 people are missing something meaningful in their lives. The study went on to say that 47% of people said that their relationships are not even meaningful. Wow. Is there anybody other than me that likes to watch National Geographic? Yeah, some of y'all. I got some fans out there. You know what I like to watch? A lion. No, not just any lion. A lion that usually prowls around looking. But wherever there's a lion, there's usually another animal somewhere out there. And he's prowling around, seeking, looking, hunting for lunchtime. And it's fascinating because it's the circle of life for animals. And I like to watch like their strategies and how they hunt and just the whole thing. I don't know, it's kind of gory, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't be a fan of it, but I like it. Call me what it is. It's weird because I can't watch UFC. Anybody fighters that like that stuff? I can't watch that. I feel like it's putting two grown people in a cage and just fighting and saying kill each other. I don't know. I'm different, but I love to watch animals. It's weird, but it's what I do. I remember seeing this lion, like he hunts, he prowls, he goes after. Because we know 1 Peter 5:8 says this, be alert and sober-minded. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour. I watch these lions looking for lunch. There's a quote E.T. Eric Thomas used to say, everybody want to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. So you want to act like you're a lion. You want to act like you're bad until it's time to do it. The beast could chase the biggest, hardest animal to catch. But what he does, and a lot of times I watch him, they want to exert the least energy they have to. So he's watching the herd go by, and he looks for the weakest one. He looks for the one in isolation. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Who's isolated? Who's by themselves? Who's weak? Who's a straggler by themselves, not hanging with the crowd? That's who I'm going to snatch up easy. So while you're meandering through life, the devil is seeking. Boom, I got him. Watch this. And you ever notice that when you're alone, you tend to mess up a little more? You ever notice that your sin, you get caught in your sin when you're by yourself? I'm encouraging you guys to stay together. John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal, kill, and what else? Destroy. If that's all I did, these three things all day long, kill, steal, and destroy, 24/7, that's all I do, I'm going to be good at what I do. So watch your weaknesses. I say, what? Gambling, is that your issue? Okay, that's yours, but not yours. Okay. What about women? What about men? What about lust? What about drugs? They're going to find what your weakness is, and he's seeking who he can devour. Yep, got that one. There he is. Let me pinch him off. Some of us got to get stronger. We can't do this life alone, and we're saying, why do I keep falling with the same mistakes? Who you with? Who's your company? Who you surrounding yourself with? Who you locking yourself in with? Because life happens to all of us. But if you have no one around you, it's a lot harder to get through it. If you're taking notes, this is another good one. God can't heal what you don't reveal. I know as I say that, there's some people that are saying, man, God knows everything already. Why does it matter? Because I'm hiding it. I still remember when Adam fell. He ate of the tree. God actually said out loud, Adam, where are you? God knows where he is. He wanted him to recognize where he was. I'm here naked, hiding. I know you are, son. Acknowledge it. Put it out. God can't heal what you reveal. Why? Because you're letting it hold you hostage. It's a secret that you want out. Put it on the table and let God heal it. Put it on the table and say, God, I got to admit that this is what I'm facing. This is who I am. This is what it's not who I am, doesn't define me, but this is what I'm struggling with. That's where healing comes. Bring your struggles to God, because I have a longing for belonging. I asked you guys earlier, who are your three closest friends? Tell me your friends, I'll tell you where you'll be in the next couple years. The circle of friends you keep has a lot to do with what your future will look like. I want you to think about this. If you're married and you hang with other married people, the way they treat their spouses, there'll be a lot impressionable how you'll treat yours. Their bank account balances will be similar to what yours are. The way they raise their kids will be similar to the way you raise yours. Think about it. I have a standard. I don't hang with people who live a wild life. I just don't. If your friends are like that, it's probably a good chance that you will be too. Here's the beauty of this message. It doesn't matter who you are today, you can change your friends. The beauty of everything I'm saying is just to challenge you. It's to encourage you to say, I don't have to stay where I'm at today. I can change the friends I hang with. Maybe I've been isolated and I hadn't wanted to get better. But today is the day I'm going to say, there's a brave men that we have here. There's authentic women in this building. There's things that's happening that I can say, if I get plugged in today, I can start changing the circle of people I'm hanging with. Where's my life going right now? Yeah, I like to be the first one to leave the doors. When they start the altar call, I just tiptoe out the back so I don't have to deal with people. Maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe it's because you're choosing to be isolated, and it's what you're good at. It's what you've always done. But how's that working out for you? Surround yourself with godly people so that your life can be challenged. Here's the third and final thought. Community helps you grow to your full potential. Whew! I want everybody, just for a moment, we got great security all over the room. I want you to close your eyes and just think for a minute. Everybody in the room, everyone even watching online, close your eyes. Ask yourself this. What could my life look like if I lived out my full potential? What could my life look like if I lived out my full potential? Open your eyes. Some of you have never dreamed like that again lately. The full potential that's in you. What could your life be? What could this church be like if all the members lived out their full potential? How could we raise our kids if we lived out our full potential? What kind of marriage could we have if we lived out our full potential? What kind of impact could we have on the kingdom of God if we lived out our full potential? Whew. We're all limited if we're by ourselves. I'm by myself, so I'm limited to how great I can be. But when I surround myself with this community, me by myself in a room of 500 people is like a drop of water. But you put 500 people together and roll it down the hill, it's a lot bigger. Take a water drop. It's one drop of water. But take 10 days of rain nonstop. It can flood stuff. We had snow the other week. One snowflake is soft, frail, melts in your hand. But enough snow can stop GCS for letting kids go to school, right? It don't take much to make them cut off school, does it? I just heard it might snow in 3 weeks. Y'all take the day off. I just don't know how they do that, whatever it is. But that's what life is. But enough snow can do what? It can shut down airplanes. It can cause an avalanche. Remember, one snowflake by itself does nothing. A lot of snow together. What is a fire? Take a candle. Here's a little light. One spark is all it is. But you put fire together, you can tear up LA. You can cause havoc everywhere. The potential of something by itself is small, but a lot of it together, what's the full potential that's within you? How great could we be if we were all that God called us to be? Listen, I am not one who just wants to be married 60 years and say, well, I stayed with her. I want to thrive in my marriage. I want people to see my marriage and say, I've been single a long time because I ain't never see enough good marriages. That's what some single people, and I know some people like that. Everybody I know is getting divorced, so why am I going to get married? It's almost a fair argument. But I had to ask him, who you hanging with? Because I know some good marriages. And that's who I choose to hang around. When the society says 50% of all marriages end in divorce. When the statistics say even in Christian homes, 50% of marriages end in divorce. Wow. What a smack in God's face. 70% of second marriages end in divorce. 84%, I think was the last study I saw, with second marriages. The third marriage ends in divorce. It only gets higher. But with God, with the right people, with the right company. The key is finding the right people, guys. Y'all are sitting here today and you're saying, Derek, that's cute and all, but for me, you don't know my story. And I'm simply saying, find your community that will help you grow to your full potential. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Show me your 3 closest friends, and I'll show you your future. Ecclesiastes 4, verse 9 and 10. 2 are better than 1, because they have good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. James 5:16, therefore confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous man has power to prevail. I made a point that I'll never face a crisis by myself. There's some people out here are a big LeBron James fan. I got a stat for him. I saw an interview the other day. Love this about him. Love him or hate him, he's definitely the top 2 greatest player to ever play the game. He was doing an interview. He said, my wife never gets enough credit. He says, early in our marriage, early when I met her, I told her, honey, I want to be the very best player who have ever played this game. He said, and I give her props because she said to me, I'm paraphrasing, go get it then. I'm going to take care of home, and I'm going to give you the reins to be greatest you want to be. So there were a lot of nights, he said, that she wouldn't have me beside her. I was a gym rat. I lived in the gym. I lived in the weight room. She sacrificed to let me have my full potential. God has given us the chance, the opportunity to live out our own full potential. What are you doing with it? What are you actually having inside of you that you're laying dormant and saying, I don't want to be any better? But you're saying, Derek, you've never faced anything. You don't know my story. I just want to take a moment and actually thank Harvest Church for being my community. Because I need all of you. I do face things. Sometimes you don't know it because you see this pretty smile. And you don't know that I hurt sometimes. Last time I checked, I'm human just like everybody else. Oh, how I admire Pastor Joe and Pastor Misty standing up here week after week. Life happens, and we just act like they're not human. They watch their grandson fight for his life. They fight cancer. They go through things just like all of us. But they stand. Why do we stand? Because we have community. We have life. 2010, my wife and I connected with 2 amazing couples, the Riggs and the McGugans. I don't even know if they're here today, but I just thank God for them. Yep, back there. We called our team Vision Team. Oh, they're my boys. They're my people. They're my family. Way before we even knew what harvest groups were, we were doing it with life. About 14 years now we've been together. Ups and downs. Good times and bad times. Once a month at least, we get together and just sit, break bread together. Our kids grew up together. We were doing life saying, come on, y'all, hang in there. Things aren't always perfect, but let's hang in there together. Let's do this. We can make it. Who would have knew? Who would have known? My wife and I would be leading small groups later. Seeing harvest groups, over 26 of them we have at this church, with all kind of different things that people can get connected with. 2014, my kids were real small. My marriage was bad. Something happened in our marriage I thought would never get over. Some of y'all know our personal story. Some of y'all may hear it at the marriage summit. Oh, but it was amazing. I'm done. I quit. I don't know if I want to last, but community got around me. And now my wife and I lead a marriage class that over 450 people have been through. Changing marriages everywhere. Here's the beauty of that statement. Where you are today is not where you have to stay. Simply put, whatever you're facing doesn't mean have to be the end of your story. 2015, I had teenagers. Oh, my goodness. Anybody had any teenagers? They get hard sometimes. I needed my community. The reason I love Harvest Church because my kids. Y'all are part of this community. Thank God for youth pastors, brothers and sisters, people they call aunt and uncle, that they can look up to say, this is my community. Y'all help my family grow to who we are. Community is so important. 2021, I had a series of tests done. Found out I had a heart condition. Had to get a defibrillator and pacemaker put in. At the ripe age of 43, I was standing in front of a doctor. I remember cutting my chest open. He was like, dang, Derek, you're like a picture of health. Usually when I do this to people, it's not the same story that you have. All of your numbers are great. But I had a condition that my brother passed away from. Remember I said earlier he died? I had the same condition. I never knew it. I had tests done after he passed, but it wasn't extensive enough. I did 8 years in the military, 10 years as a firefighter. Did a lot of sports. I could have collapsed at any point. I don't even know why I'm still standing here today. But God. Come on, somebody. But God. See, that's the thing. You see people stand in front of a stage and you don't know what they've been through. I considered myself blessed and have said I will not choose to use my life as just a meandering thought. I'm going to make an impact on the kingdom of God until my last breath. Yeah. What if you lived up to your full potential? Not even supposed to be here. So here I stand at 2025, oblivious of what may be coming up. What's my next story I'm going to go through? I don't know. Maybe it's losing a sister. Maybe it's having to bury another loved one. Life is tough. But it's so much better when you do it with community. Get connected today. Stay plugged in because life will happen. But who you with? If you get nothing else today, understand that you need people in your life. Last verse I'll give you is Proverbs 18:24. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend that sticks closer than any friend. The question I want to ask today is, have you allowed Jesus to be the center of your life? I thought about how when you allow him to be part of your life, he can only touch the part that God is around. But if you make him the center of your life, it impacts everything in your life. So coming today to church today was good, but it just makes him a part of your week. Praying occasionally is really good, but it just makes him a part of your day. But to make him the center of your life changes everything. I want everybody to close your eyes and bow your heads. I want to give an invitation for you to change today. If you're in this room and you said, hey, today is the day I want to make him the center of my life. I don't want to just kind of play along with it. I want him to be the center starting today. I want you to raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand because you say, this is the day I want to make a decision. I see that hand. I see that hand. I see that hand. Amen. I see that hand. I see that hand. Thank you, Lord. Romans 5:8 says, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. God, thank you for those who raised their hands. Thank you for those who are making the decision and rededication of their lives today. And real simply, I want you guys everybody to do this, not just the people who raise their hands. Repeat this prayer after me. Say, God, thank you for sending your son Jesus to die on the cross for me. I believe that you died and rose again. Forgive me for all of my sins, all of my wrongdoings. I need you. help me. Give me the right community to be all that I can be. I love you, God. I love your son, Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.